they have told us that the only provision that the black man is qualified to give us is one of money. And we have made finance the major focus of our relationships with them. We have made the one thing that most of them don't even have be the criteria. We have been taught that if they do not give us money, that we are not to even allow them to be a father to their child. We have been taught that if he does not give us money, then he is not qualified to tell us what to do. We have been taught that if he does not give us money, that he doesn't have any rights in the home. It's whoever is making the money who has the rights. That's not our system. The black man provides more in a black home than just financial support. He provides direction, guidance, gratification, fulfillment, and discipline for our children.
So what's making these people so powerful? Family. I destroy the family, I destroy the empire. So they sold your mother one way and your father another way. They destroyed the family. That's what destroyed Africa. So we had to build family. A black man and a black woman in love, raising a healthy child is the most dangerous thing on this planet. We're looking for a gun. The gun is the relationship.
And now for our feature presentation.
Back when the case first started, and I was hearing the craziness from the court officers, you know, the referee, the drunk court attorney, and the judge. It's your word against theirs. I had learned that it's almost no way to get the court recordings or transcripts. If you do get them, you have to pay. And after they take out everything that would incriminate them, then you can get the transcripts and the recordings. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe.
Please clap.
What kind of support is being paid? That there's nothing in the Constitution that guarantees you a 50-50 split. How has that been going from your perspective, Mr. Spain? You're the original petitioner to address first.
I don't. What do you mean by how has it been going?
Have you been enjoying time with your child?
No, I don't have enough time according to the Constitution.
Okay, so but how has it been going based upon what you have right now?
I'm not understanding your question.
Did you enjoy? Has the time been well spent with Israel?
No, it's not what I'm supposed to get. No, so no.
I'm talking about what you're supposed to get right now.
Right, but
I'm talking about what you're supposed to get right now.
Right, but
I'm talking about what you're supposed to get right now.
Right, but I'm talking about the law.
Mr. Spain, you need to. I'm the judge. You need to listen to what I'm asking you today.
And my answer is no.
Okay. So why is it no?
Because I don't have enough time with my daughter.
So how have the visits been going?
I'm not understanding what you're asking me. I just told you.
I'm asking you how. I'm not asking you what you want. How? I'm not asking you what you want. How? I'm not asking you what you want.
working mother has to have weekend time with the child. It's the law. Those are her exact words. I recorded her ignoring me and telling me I cannot go to trial and I can't see the judge because she needed more information. I asked her, more information about what? And she just straight out ignored me over and over again. Honor the Constitution in family court. I recorded her trying to convince me to give my holiday time with my daughter to my daughter mother. Oh, I almost forgot. I recorded this alcoholic and my daughter's mother lawyer talking about, their friend who was mentioned by her first name only, who was having a baby at the time. This is a serious conflict of interest, but the entire family cooperation is between friends who has one common goal. If your lawyer and opposing party and the opposing party lawyer goes into a room together without you, you better take your funky ass right in there, right behind them. That's your life and money. What do they have to discuss in private? Last but not least, sugar cunt. I recorded everything that came out of this wicked demon's mouth, like.
So what I want to do is a couple of things. I want to clarify what is it that you're receiving disability for?
That's my private. I cannot disclose that.
Mr. Spain,
I'm not going to tell you that. That's I have my right to privacy. You can't force me to tell you it's not what's wrong with me. That's my privacy. I have a right by the 4th Amendment. So now I'm being forced to tell you something that I have a right for.
So what I'll tell you is, I can only tell you what the case law is in this area, okay? The case law in the second department, which is a higher court than me, has held repeatedly and continues to hold that when parents come to court to dispute custody, they place their health at issue. Mr. Spain, so what I want to do is a couple of things. I want to clarify what is it.
I'm not going to put the full-length videos up here, but I did jot down the step-by-step specs to getting justice served. I'm waiting for these crooks to say that I never met Drunk Bonnie and I only met Sarah Wayne, just so I could play the recordings of my encounters with Vincent Price-Face Drunk Bonnie. I have already trained my mind, body, and soul to take this fight to the highest court if I have to.
Are you working, sir, at this time? I forget if you were working.
For a year I've been saying I have a disability case.
And we have asked before, and we are asking again to know the nature of the disability, because when the parties were together up until the end of May 2015, Mr. Spain did not have a disability, and we, as the mother, Ms. Jones has the right to know if he has a disability that affects his ability to care for a toddler in his care.
Mr. Spain, that will become an issue after trial, and it's an issue now, but it,
Well, I have a right to my Fourth Amendment, so it doesn't
I'm not
matter.
sure what Fourth Amendment you're
Fourth
referring to.
Amendment is right to privacy.
Time out. Did he just say he's not sure what Fourth Amendment I was referring to or what I meant by the Fourth Amendment? Let me play that again.
Well, I have a right to my Fourth Amendment, so it doesn't
I'm not
matter.
sure what Fourth Amendment you're referring
Let me play that one more time.
to.
Well, I have a right to my Fourth Amendment, so it
I'm
doesn't
not sure
matter.
what Fourth Amendment you're
Fourth
referring to.
Amendment is right to privacy.
How many Fourth Amendments are there? And he's a judge, right? Let's finish listening.
Now I'm being forced to tell you something that I have a right for?
So what I'll tell you is, I can only tell you what the case law is in this area, okay? The case law in the second department, which is a higher court than me, has held repeatedly and continues to hold that when parents come to court to dispute custody, they place their health at issue,
Okay.
okay? And what the mother is saying is that you've alleged previously that you are on disability.
Hmm?
And she's asking, she just wants to confirm to make sure that that disability doesn't impact upon your ability to parent your child.
It hasn't.
So that is something that may very well be true.
Right.
And that's ultimately where the court may land on that issue. But the court has the right, pursuant to case law, to inquire about it.
Well, okay.
And it does, at that point, supersede any right you may believe you have pursuant to the Fourth Amendment.
Time out again. Did the judge just say, no, the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe did say this? I'm going to rewind it for you.
It does, at that point, supersede any right you may believe you have pursuant to the Fourth Amendment.
We're going to take a look at a treaty, the definition of a treaty, and the government's definition of it. Now, all I did was just Googled the word treaty and look for the definition of treaty. I didn't try to do no Black's Law Dictionary or try to make this more complex than what it already is. Just going to try to keep it nice, sweet, and simple. But the definition, Google's definition for treaty is a formally concluded and ratified agreement between countries. All right. Now, the government's definition for treaty is a formal written agreement between two or more countries or governments. And then you can look at the example that this definition, used for the word treaty. It's two different examples for signing a treaty and a peace treaty. You understand? Now, a treaty is greater than a custody agreement, right? It's greater than, you would think that is greater than a person disability or I'm gonna read this whole page. It says, so treaties cannot trump the Constitution, as many people claim, unless they are put in place as a constitutional amendment. But I found still further evidence of this understanding in the New York's ratification instrument, that is the document which the state of New York draft stating what they understood this new binding document upon them to mean. That the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court of the United States or of any other state to be instituted by the Congress is not in any case to be increased, enlarged, or extended by any faction, collusion, or mere suggestion, and that no treaty is to be construed so to operate as to alter the Constitution of any state. But then I'm gonna go down to where it says Maryland. Maryland as well use similar language in their instrument, that no treaty shall be effectual to repeal or abrogate the constitutions or bills of rights of the state or any part of them. Meaning that a treaty which is greater than any custody agreement. Can someone then please explain how does this so-called case law that the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe speak of supersede the Constitution when a treaty cannot? Why do this judge continue to lie? He don't even know me. Is he hell-bent on not allowing men to be in their offspring's lives? Is that what it is? Is he prejudiced against men? Is he prejudiced against families? What is the reason why this man who has been appointed to be a judge continue to lie? And this is just a snippet. If you look, this is just the beginning of the video. I didn't even get all the way into the other recordings. But let's continue to listen to the recordings, this recording of the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe.
Context without having to disclose possibly. But if you're before the court and the issue gets raised, I as a judge, based on case law, have the right to inquire.
And I have the right to my privacy.
And I'm telling you that if you do not disclose, then I have the right, as a judge, I have the authority to draw what we call our adverse inferences. Right, as a judge, I have the authority to draw what we call our adverse inferences. As a judge, I have the authority to draw what we call our adverse inferences. Have the right to inquire.
And I have the right to my privacy.
And I'm telling you that if you do not disclose, then I have the right, as a judge, I have the authority to draw what we call our adverse inferences. The issue is and so if it's not, and I said my personal position generally is that physical health conditions do not generally do not affect the ability to parent a child. People in wheelchairs, people with physical disabilities can raise their children. The issue is and so if it's not, and I said my personal position generally is that physical health conditions do not generally do not affect the ability to parent a child. People in wheelchairs, people with physical disabilities can raise their children. 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 But the question is, what is the issue? And it can just simply put,
It's physical.
so then I need to know what that is.
That's all I can tell you.
So Mr. Spain, I'm going to leave the conversation here for today for you to think about, because I'm not going to belabor this point today. But I'm going to tell you that if this position on your part continues, the court may have to draw adverse inferences against you, and that would affect your ability to argue the positions that you have. Okay, I just want to leave it there. It's not, we're just talking right at this point. But if it comes to a point where the request is formally made and you choose not to comply with the request of the court to disclose that information, then the court may use that against you. Okay? At that point, then your request for custody and all these different issues becomes seen in that light, and you just have to keep that in mind.
The Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe is a judge, right? Who has authority to make orders, right? So, the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe could have made an order for my doctors to reveal what my disability is, right? So if the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe cannot, according to the law, order my doctors to tell him what my disability is, why is he threatening me if I don't tell him?
That's fine, because when it was on the other shoe, it was
So I've
never.
asked you, what would be the basis for it? So
I mean, like I said, no disrespect, I tried to numerous times show the court the evidence that's backing my allegation.
What is it that you're saying is, so what is your offer of proof? I have not heard this, but what is
I did. I told you over and
What is
over.
the
She
offer?
attacked me with knives over and over. I have concrete proof. According to Domestic Relations Section 240, I said it over and over for over a year.
So what is your offer of proof? I have not heard this. So what is your offer of proof? I have not heard this. So what is your offer of proof? I have not heard this.
Before the hearing starts, each party is sworn in.
socialization could be a fair concern as well. So then the question is, how do we bring this all to a compromise? Because I think that's the bulk of the issue here. Now, what about what about custody?
Can I answer your question? The way that we can bring this to a conclusion is the law. I'm entitled to equal time.
So Mr. Sprain, so let me be very clear about this. There is no, you will not find in any statute, you will not find in any constitution, you will not find in any case law what if parents can't reach a decision about how to share custody. There is nothing that's going to point you to. You will find nothing that says that you're entitled to.
Yes, I can. It's called the 14th Amendment.
If that's what you think, then you can find it and you can bring it to me as authority.
All right.
And that's what you should do.
All right.
Because I will tell you that you're not going to find that. There's nothing that says that every parent, that this is the formula that you have to follow.
So then how is it determined what's the best interest for a child, especially when there's no assessment, no evaluation?
You have to look at all these different factors. I can print out for you a case if you want.
All right, and then we can exchange the Constitution with whatever you're going to print
And
out.
I understand that, and I told you that there's nothing in the Constitution that guarantees you 50-50 today.
In this video, we're going to talk about the 14th Amendment, which, as many know, requires equal treatment of all parties and all individuals. Sexism, or gender bias, is so rampant in this court that you can be sure that anyone that says it is not is either ignorant or a liar, or a lawyer trying to protect the system. The 14th Amendment requires that both a father and a mother be treated equally and decisions not be based on gender.
If you want.
All right, and then we can exchange the Constitution with whatever you're going to print
And
out.
I understand that, and I told you that there's nothing in the Constitution.
How do we determine where we are right now?
Well, see, so ideally, parents would be able to sit down and talk it through about what they think is best for their child. If you can't do that, which may be the case here, then people come to court. And then the court has to look at a whole host of factors. There's no formula that the court is supposed to apply and say, okay, I put in the father's date of birth, I put in the mother's date of birth, I put in the child's date of birth, I put in all these different factors, and it gives me a formula that says, okay, 50-50 here, 40-50 here, 40-60 there. There's no formula to that nature. It's left to the court to have to look at all the various factors to make that determination.
So the law doesn't come into play.
That is the law.
So the law doesn't come into play.
That is the law.
The law is, so if the law is coming into play, then what is the holdup? We've been here
Because I think you
doing nothing.
have a very misimpression of what the law is, and that's what I think you have to sort of you have to accept that. And if you don't, then you just simply would have to take it to the appellate division and have them tell you the same thing, and you can take it to the highest court of the state of New York, maybe to the Supreme Court, and they'll tell you all the same thing.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Well, I have, and one part tell me well I'm right, and then another part says something else. So I'm confused with the law. I know that a fit father, unless you can find something wrong with either parent, has the right to equal time.
And I'm going to tell you again that there's nothing that says
Okay.
that in the case law or in the statute.
Okay. Now we determine whether I should get a little bit more time, but not if she should get, in the daycare, should get less time.
It's the same discussion. Right?
No, it hasn't been. It hasn't been.
The court expanded your order of visit, your request based upon this court has expanded your visitation based upon these concerns that you raised. And like I said, I'm not necessarily opposed to to addressing it even more. But my question and my real suggestion is that you, Ms. Jones, sit down because there are these competing interests that you have.
I want you to look at this. This is the order of protection that the same court issued on my behalf against my daughter's mother, signed by the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe. Or is it? So I ask, why would a judge tell someone who has an order of protection against a person that they need to communicate with that person? Isn't that dangerous? That's like leading the sheep to slaughter, or the whatever, how you say, the pigs to slaughter. Why would you do that? Why would a judge, an officer of the court, tell you you need to have a conversation with someone who you have legal court documents to stay away from, that for them to stay away from you? Why would he do that? Maybe it's because I know what I was talking about and they're trying to get rid of this case. But you'll see that further on in the future.
And that's also legitimate request.
And who makes that determination?
I think ideally, like I said, the two of you should sit down and try to come up with some agreement.
I'm just asking who made that determination on what's best for the child, where the child should be as far as the daycare.
You need to use your ears right now.
I am. I'm asking you because my daughter was put in the daycare without me even knowing.
For you, sir. I'm telling you that ideally the two of you should be able to do that.
We're not getting anywhere. Can we just,
Ideally, you and Miss Jones should be able to sit down because you know your daughter.
Fuck now. Fuck. Oh my god, I should put a fucking bullet in your fucking head, you bitch. Oh my god, I should put a fucking bullet in your fucking head, you bitch. Oh my god, I should put a fucking bullet in your fucking head, you bitch.
So once again, I have to ask, why would the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe tell me I need to talk to someone who has threatened to murder me?
You're asking me who should do this, and I'm telling the two of you should do this.
But obviously we can't. We're here for that.
If your question is who's going to do it, that is why you were here in court, and I'm telling you then I will do that. But I'm suggesting to you that it's better that you and Miss Jones do that because you know your daughter best.
Fuck now. Fuck. Oh my god, I should put a fucking bullet in your fucking head, you bitch.
So my suggestion is that you try to talk, and if not, then we will have to figure out how to make this. I will have to, at the end of a trial, make that determination. I mean, if you're asking who makes that determination, that decision is entrusted to the family court. But as I said to you before, and this issue has come up on prior occasions about you wanting 50-50 time.
So one thing, you're saying there is no law saying that I get 50-50 equal time?
There's nothing in the law that says, okay. I'm not saying that it wouldn't happen.
It's not there.
I'm sorry?
It's not no law. I just wanted to hear you say it.
Yes, there is no law.
All right.
There's nothing that you will find in case law or in statute by statute that says that.
Okay.
Texting me, don't talk to me, I don't have to talk to you. So, it's a lot of time to ask a parent to have no communication or knowledge about what's going on with their child. Whereas when Izzy has issues in Ms. Jones's parish, Ms. Jones does text Mr. Spain to let him know about his
I want your client to think about it the next court date.
Can I respond to that allegation?
Not at this time. We You and I have been doing a lot of college research, and I have to move on to my next case.
I can't respond to my ticket about my daughter being dirty. The allegations about that.
Yeah, I'm less concerned about that allegation. I think that parents have different ways of caring for kids, not everyone, but I'm more concerned about the lack of ability to
Communicate?
yes.
Can I respond to that?
I don't need to communicate. I don't need to respond to that. I'm drawing my own conclusions today based upon the past conversations that I've had with both parties here.
Fuck now. So fuck. Oh my god, I should put a fucking bullet in your fucking head, you bitch.
Well, the facts is the facts. I mean,
Mr. Spain, I've already said I don't need to talk about this anymore.
so we just going off of what they say?
That's the end of the discussion.
Can we come back in early November?
I'm just here
And at that time, the witness...
You're not just here, sir.
because I can't even
Mr. Spain, I
respond.
shouldn't respond. The conversation is done. I've already said it's done.
Fuck now. So fuck. Oh my god, I should put a fucking bullet in your fucking head, you bitch.
Back in the daycare.
Back in the daycare. There has been a history throughout this case of Mr. Spain bringing Izzy and picking her up as he chooses.
Has that been happening?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Spain, I've made it very clear that that is not going to happen. And if it happens, then I'm going to restrict your time. I promise you that. And I've made it very clear that that is not going to happen. And if it happens, then I'm going to restrict your time. I promise you that. And I've made it very clear that that is not going to happen. And if it happens, then I'm going to restrict your time. I promise you that. Mr. Spain.
I don't know what you want me to say. It is what it is.
This is what I want you to listen to now.
I've been
okay?
listening to you for the longest.
It actually happened, but that's okay. What I'm telling you is that if you violate my order, because we've discussed this issue, that's not to happen. Okay?
Last time we was talking, you said it's daycare. I don't see what's the problem. Now it's a problem.
No, that's not what I said.
Yes, it is. But all right. It is what it is. I want to add this before, I move on. The Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe said that there is no such law that states a father get equal time as a mother. He said there is no such law that states that. He didn't say it just once. He said it 6 times. Every time he said it, I put a number up. He said it 6 times. The Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe. But let me continue. Can I say one thing about dropping her off late? I have to carry my daughter during rush hour, take 3 trains during rush hour in the morning, carry her up and down stairs or wait for an elevator, miss trains, and walk down 2 long city blocks during all sorts of weather. So being prompt like that is almost impossible. And also my doctor is in the area, so if I'm in that area around that time, my doctor's appointment, I'm going to pick my daughter up. I never picked up at 10 o'clock, never picked up at 11 o'clock. So after my doctor's appointment, no need for me to go all the way back to the other side of Brooklyn.
The order is at this time going to be continued. It's an alternate weekend, Wednesday at 5 p.m. to 8 and Monday at 8 a.m. Order pick up and drop off the tiny bone pizza. That's what I expect to be followed. Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Madison.
Oh, by the way, the next time I drop my daughter off, after the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe said that he is going to restrict my time with my child, I dropped her off 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He did nothing. See, this is the thing. They want to play that mind game like they have authority over you. It was something I took up in psychology in school, where it was the white jacket syndrome or something like that, where you just respect that uniform or that outfit. I'm not that dude. This is what I want y'all to do. I mean, for those who are watching, whoever is watching, I want y'all to take a ride with me. Ride with me to drop my daughter off to the daycare. But keep in mind, the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe ordered that I have to have my daughter at the daycare at 8 a.m. in the morning. Let me remind you, I have to make sure that my daughter is good before I take her out into this world. What I mean is that I have to wake her up to consciousness. I have to bathe her. Then I have to feed her and make sure she is hydrated. Then I have to dress her and pack necessary things just in case she's hungry or thirsty or need to be changed. Because remember, I've been doing this since she was 11 months old. You know, or whatever the case may be. I have to pack it, in a bag and tote it with us where we going. But the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe said,
I know, Lisa, that's what I expect to be followed. Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Madison. And I've made it very clear that that is not going to happen. And if it happens, then I'm going to restrict your time. I promise you that.
Keep in mind that I'm either pushing my daughter in a stroller or carrying her in my arms through all type of weather. This is because she couldn't walk yet or just wanted that oneness with her father. Right here is the daycare, which is exactly next door. My daughter always look in the gate as we pass by every time.
I'm making my own land. Royale's a modern day pharaoh. From the projects, a product of the ghetto. Never settle, take it to another level. Where the sky ain't limited and cops don't shadow. And the women look good and they not so shallow. When your pockets ain't deep and you're not Jim Kimmel. On a late night, the streets is no place to sleep. These cold days don't come cheap. Robbed the narrow and heat, learn the hard way. 4 floors seated the Barclays. Dudes R.A.'s thinking they Scarface. Should've spoke to him, say hello to him, then it go through him. Talking about the gift that God gave. Chest off the board, it still played the same. With every move is something to lose, something to gain. Make everything count, fuck pumping the ounce. I'm kingpin in the bounce, in the penthouse, top floor. Get your queen to king knocked over. Right, illegal was the easy way out. They couldn't understand the mechanics and the workings of the underworld. Granted, 9 to 5's how we survive. I ain't trying to survive, trying to live it to the limit and love it alive. 9 to 5's how we survive. I ain't trying to survive, trying to live it to the limit and love it alive. You think you can get through me? Come on. I'm just getting started. I'm making my own land. They want you laid up and bent this, whip bent up. They want the judge throw the book at you, the sentence shut. They want you claim a set, so they can claim the opposite. Chilling with your children and they asking who you riding with. Cops still prowling, hunger pains don't stop your stomach from growling. Stranded out in Shaolin, tiger style, got stripes from the street life. Dudes pop pills now, they don't use pipes. That's why the last pack you push ain't add up quite right. Rent still due, and your sneakers ain't looking that new. The car's unmarked and they looking at you. Even try to call Nikki, but it ain't go through. Knowing your daughter need diapers and baby shoes, got you filling out apps. It's similar to craps. Your jump shot ain't that wicked and you don't rap. It's like life passed you by, she ain't look back. I'm making my own land.
Now, when we exit this train, a river of people pours in as a river of people pours out. So it's hard to maneuver with a child. Now, this is where shit get hectic. When we reach the elevator, there is always a line of people waiting to get on. Sometimes the line be halfway to the stairs. The bad thing about it is, when it rains or snows, the water and the snow will be on those stairs. I mean, real talk, to hell with me. But what about the baby? Nonetheless, if we wait to get on the elevator, look how much room is in there. I don't want these people up and close on my daughter like that at all. So guess what I have to do?
Everybody knows she all about the dough. The way about it, music got me coming back for more. She make me say yeah. She make me say yeah. She make me say yeah.
Yo, senorita, como esta? K-pop, so you got my heart. And I'm speaking in the language of love, cause I can tell you love hanging with thugs. So go ahead and ask a sucker. She'll say there's no other. Young motherfucker, quite like this brother. That's young r.i.c.o. Like yo weak ass, you speak fast, you trick fast, you don't get cash, yo bitch ass. You have her much like Carter, and I'm muy guapo. You can follow me to the villa in Key Largo.
Get it, take it to the floor. Push it, bring it up, and then she drop it slow. Everybody knows she all about the dough. The way about it, music got me coming back for more. She make me say yeah. She make me say yeah. She make me say yeah.
Sometimes, especially in the morning, this area is flooded with passengers. I know because I used to come this way to go to school. You know, every morning, evening, afternoon, this was the way that I used to go to school.
I put my car in my mama name, like I put my house in my mama name. If my mama pass, I won't get a thing. She putting it all in my sister name. I just hope she pay the taxes on it. They gon' kill her with the taxes on it. I would've turned them to asses, homie. She way too attached to attachments, homie.
I want you to win, though we had a bond. You irresponsible, can't respond. Leave you alone before I do you harm. The saddest part, you don't believe you wrong. Lucky me, that's what you thinking. Work all week, play your weekend. Sneak and sleep in, between blinks and ain't no weekend, let that sink in. You're way too attached. I be deep in, every toe in, you ain't even peeking. You ain't seen nothing, you was sleeping. Really in the streets, you was in the sheets. Man, I know your kind. Nothing wrong with you, just not like mine. And that's fine, I ain't gonna waste your time. I'ma let you get back to your Jordan line. You're way too attached. You're way too attached to attachments, homie. You're way too attached. Let you get back to your Jordan line. You're way too attached to attachments, homie. You're way too attached.
So after 3 trains in all type of conditions, I dropped my daughter off, who to this day screams for her daddy when we depart. And this is the daycare where my daughter was hidden from me. And down there is where my daughter dwells. Where the arrows are pointing is the train station where we walk to and from. When it rains, it comes on the platform. When it snows, it comes on the platform, along with ice, because the train station platform is outside and exposed to the elements. This is the apartment building in which my daughter daycare is in the basement of. So you've seen the road I traveled for almost 3 years. But look at this. If you look closely, better yet, look at the arrow. The bridge where the arrow is pointing is the distance that my daughter mother has to travel. She has a car. I thought it would be a good idea for her to drop my daughter off to me every day, and she pick her up every day after she get out of work. That's free of charge, no money. But the judge feels that this is what's best for the system. Pardon me, I mean the best interest of the child. But the only way that this will be over is if I surrender. And that's never gonna happen, if you can't tell by now. Before I continue, I want to say that I tried everything within my power, within my will, before and during this court ordeal to end it reasonably. I try to stay righteous in this situation. I went to everyone in my daughter's mother's circle who I thought could be a logical medium. They all agreed to, talk sense to her about what really matters. Maybe because of the unwritten girl power code. They would always return making excuses for her actions. I even sat down with one of her friends who I thought was cool. I mean, real cool, like a dude. That didn't even work either. While I reached out for help, this friend had me on speakerphone or something, recording me the whole time. I'm looking at her, mess with her phone right in front of me, not respecting that I am King Record in all humility. So they wanted to hear me say something, some type of negativity. So I said a few things deliberately just to tickle their fancy. This is what I was dealing with. Straight kiddie shit. What makes sense do not apply here. It's like an epidemic. Oh, let me add this. I even wrote a 5-page letter directly to my daughter's mother with my hand. In this letter, I offered to get away with her and my daughter to Atlantic City, and I was going to cover all the expenses. I offered to give her a program Fire Stick so she wouldn't have to pay a high cable bill. I also offered her an Apple Watch. I even said, I could still consider her my wife. In this letter, I also proposed an offer where she can get every holiday with my daughter forever in return of my daughter being with me while her mother was at work. When this case first started, and I came to the conclusion that this is not done by the book. So I started doing mad research. I've been up. This is no lie. I hardly get any sleep. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how another man can just be like, because a lot of dudes was coming to me. They was like, wait till your daughter 18. She'll come to you. I'm like, that's the dumbest shit I have ever heard. So, maybe that's why, I roll dolo a lot, because I'm not like the masses. But anyway, I've been up studying law and all that other crazy stuff and doing a lot of research. You know what I'm saying? When you realize that your kid's mother, your kid's father, when you're in family court, your kid's mother, your kid's father is not your opponent. That is not your enemy. You have to learn about these court officers who are supposed to be held at high standards and do their due diligence. You have to learn about them. So while studying and researching the Honorable Dean Kusakabe, I came across this. It's called a robing room. Like the gowns the judges wear. The subtitle states, "Where judges are judged." It's a site where you can write a review and read others' review about any judge in any state in this country. These are the reviews of the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe. I'm going to read a couple. I'm not going to read them all. I'm going to read a couple too. I'm going to start with the first one. It states, this judge conspired with the Children Law Center attorney and his clerk to delay cases. The law clerk is not objective and frequently talks with and make decisions with the children law attorney. They pick sides and then conspire against the other parent. You never get to see the judge again because your case is always being postponed. Sound familiar? The judge does not follow established custody agreements, and when you hire a lawyer, the clerk postpones your case, so you never see the judge again. They tried that with me too. They tried that with me with Drunk Bonnie, because they kept bullshitting and making reasons to come back, and that's a whole nother thing, I'll talk about it another time. But I guess I made Drunk Bonnie so uncomfortable. That's the court attorney, Bonnie Gershon. I made her feel so uncomfortable that she didn't want to be bothered with me no more. So that plan was foiled too. But anyway, it says it was the worst experience in Judge Kusakabe court, and I hope he reads this. Let me go to another one. Let me go to the next one. It says the judge was given 15 years on the bench with no election after a very mediocre career as an attorney for the child. He is a living fraud on the court. His cronyistic relationship with the Children Law Center is a scandal. His new court attorney, Sarah Wayne, she was employed with the CLC Children Law Center for 15 years and talks to her buddies there every day. How can the unified court system allow this conflict of interest? If the Commissioner of Judicial Conduct were not a kangaroo court for judges, they would investigate and disbar him. This is a lawyer saying this. You know what I mean? This is not no disgruntled parent or litigant or whatever. Let me go to another. I'm going to skip one. I'm going to go to this one right here. A civil litigant, right? It says, he never looks at his witnesses. He never look at the witnesses.
prefer to sitting over a keyboard with his back to the courtroom, does not have one clue about rules of evidence, and I just proved that, highly prejudiced, make snide under his breath comments about party, no regard for, or perhaps more charitable, no knowledge of the letter of the law. And that's a fact. I just proved that. This dude was just freestyling. He had no clue about the law. You know, but it says, takes forever to make the simplest decision. Overall worst judge I encountered in 30 years. I'm going to read one more. I'm going to read the next one. It's from other. I don't know what they are. They all gave him, look, 1 star. They rate him, so look, he got 1.5 star. And that's being, generous. But the last one I'm going to read is from someone named Other, or whatever. Anyway, it says he's incompetent, issuing orders accidentally, forgetting orders made in previous hearings, prejudiced, hypocritical, bigoted, and with scant regard for the interests of the children he is supposed to be defending. So as I dig a little deeper, I came across this. This is FCLU. The website name, the website is fcvfc.org. Now, let me say this right quick. This, look, it's called Family Civil Liberties Union, right? This page is the 20 worst family court judges in New York State in 2016. Now let me explain to you. We have 5 boroughs, right, in New York City, right? And each borough has a family court. So there are numerous family court judges in each borough. But this is for the state of New York. You know, for everybody to understand, you have New York City and New York State. You have what we call up north, upstate. All right, you got Syracuse, you got Rochester, you got Schenectady, you got Albany. Did I say Albany already? But it's so many towns, so many cities or towns or cities in upstate New York that has family court judges too. So there is hundreds of family court judges in the state of New York. But let me read this first paragraph before I continue about how big the state of New York is. So it reads, after an exhaustive 4-month survey of litigants, attorney, and judges in New York State's family and matrimonial courts, and with the cooperation of numerous organizations and individuals. So hold on. This is like so many people that they're taking a survey, you know, like on Family Feud, the top 100 answers, you know, like that. This is a survey of, let me just add this, attorney and judges, right? So it says, with the cooperation of numerous organizations and individuals, here is a list of the 20 judges who have most egregiously failed to perform their statutory duties in 2016. In the interest of our children and family and the citizenry that pays their lofty salaries, they all need to be investigated, audited, and removed from the bench.
I don't know whoever came up with this page or this organization, but let's just look into this page a little further, because like this is other judges too that's taking a survey of other judges. Out of hundreds of judges, these are the top 20 worst judges in the state of New York. So when you stroll down, a little bit, matter of fact, I'm gonna do it like this. When you stroll down, let's look at who is the fourth worst judge in the state of New York. The Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe. Unbelievable. Dean Kusakabe, Kings County Family Court. They label him as incompetent, bigotry, cronyism, and casual cruelty are Kusakabe's main characteristics. He came to the bench July 2012 with no training as a judge. He was appointed by Mayor Bloomberg. When I first read this, I was pretty sure that Bloomberg appointed the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe because, you know, he was a good money maker. Bloomberg was all about money. You know, I think he, I heard he paid for his own campaign and nomination. But let me finish reading. He was appointed by Mayor Bloomberg, who was trying to burnish his poor diversity record. See, now, the third sentence makes sense now. Because he wasn't appointed because of his greatness as a lawyer or a judge. The Honorable Dean Kusakabe was appointed because there was not enough Oriental judges. Okay, let me finish. Let me continue reading. His ignorance of the law was vividly demonstrated when he recently allowed the powerful attorney-mother of a mother-litigant to represent her daughter, even though she was a principal witness in the case. This was a clear violation of the attorney-witness law, Rule 3.7 of the NYRPC, and case law established by the 2nd Department Appellate Division. Now, this is the same 2nd Department that the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe said is the higher court in this area and supersedes the Constitution. But if that's the law the Honorable Dean Kusakabe lives by, why did he disregard it in that case just mentioned? This dude just be freestyling on the bench, like, going off the dome. Anyway, let me continue. As such, he knowingly violated Judicial Canon Section 100.2a. A judge shall respect and comply with the law. Crazy. In violation of another judicial canon, Section 100.3b4, Kusakabe is deeply biased in favor of mothers. In one recent case, he allowed an unsupervised visitation to a mother despite conclusive evidence that she was mentally unstable. Kusakabe is terrified of pro se litigants who he persecutes. In one ongoing case, he delayed court proceedings by 6 months just to decide whether or not the father should relieve his attorney and proceed pro se. Meanwhile, he denied that father any contact with his daughter without giving him any hearing on the allegations made by the mother. it's crazy. You know, it's not me. Like I said, maybe he's just biased against men. You know what I mean? I don't know, maybe something happened to him in his childhood with a man. You know what I mean? Maybe he got violated by a man and just holding that against all men. You know? And it's sad because I thought it was just, you know, maybe because I got my dreads and, you know, I wasn't, you know, just going along with whatever he said, that he had something against me, but this is his pattern. You know what I mean? He has an ill pattern of this. And like I say again, thank God I recorded it. But where was that? Okay. Right here. Kusakabe has a wholly inappropriate relationship with the taxpayer-funded Children's Law Center, whom he appoints as the attorney for the child in every case he takes. See, this is starting to sound more and more like a r.i.c.o. You know, and this how a lot of minority communities are conformed to thinking that the r.i.c.o stands for, you know, a lot of inner city big time drug dealers. But look up the definition, and the things that I reveal will show you that this is the r.i.c.o. You know what I mean? Because look, he's using. Just look it up. So. Cozy is his, let me finish reading right here. So Cozy is his relationship to the CLC, that he even has a mailbox openly on view in his courtroom for his correspondence with the CLC. He allowed the CLC to testify in cases before him in violation of the attorney witness rule. He denies applications to disqualify the CLC, even when conflict of interest has been proven. For example, he denied disqualification applications when it was proved that the mother's attorney was also employed by the CLC, or when the CLC was employing the babysitter of a subject child. Kusakabe calendar is managed by his hapless court attorney, Bonnie Gershon, a.k.a. Drunk Bonnie, who contributes to the Dickensian atmosphere of Kusakabe's courtroom. Clutching her coffee thermos like a baby's blanket, she wanders aimlessly around the 9th floor corridor like Miss Havisham. Peep this though. And held it against me and prevent me further from being a father to my daughter. And by the court's weapon of presumption and Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, they have every right to label me as a substance or alcohol abuser if they have pictures of me like this. But you know, every time I seen Drunk Bonnie, she appeared to be like cold, like sweater and jacket cold, and half dead in the face all the time, like she was coming down from a binge or some shit. This is just my opinion. On that note, this website compares Drunk Bonnie Gershon to a Charles Dickens character named Miss Havisham. I'm going to give you a visual of who they compare court attorney Bonnie Gershon to. I'm going to need your help on this one, Boogie.
Yeah, and it goes. Tank top on, sweatpants over the stove top. Corner store run, I need 2 more boxes of fold tops. Mason jar in the old pot. Ayy, you keep rocking and you don't stop. I put that doo-wop in the soda, make that bitchy do a talk. Gabby Douglas with the wristwear, turn skateboards into a truck. Yeah, alright, we just call it coming up. I let my old head test it, now that motherfucker stuck. The neighbors know about us. I'm moving New York Knicks, chasing Milwaukee Bucks. I'm on my New York shit, skelly top making plucks. Kill the block, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I know they ask about us, but if it ain't about paper, then I don't say much. It's Boogie Boogie if you ain't heard of me. Yeah, from DMP, now it's BDP, cause I'm getting
down paper. Down paper. Down paper. Down paper.
Rubber band money, all of it in tube socks. Crib full of hammers, call that theater tool shop. Bust the whole thing down, all in pool shots. Keep rocking and you don't stop. I'm sticking to the script and still serving stack on niggas. About to get a beeper, take it back on niggas. All day, all night, ain't no slacking niggas. And when it's gone, I'm Sean Carter, fade to black on niggas. Yeah. Then I'm back on niggas like I never left. Puffin' purple, playing purple tape while I Raekwon the chef. Yeah, I'm just getting to the check. Moving work, no clock, no desk. All the work is out with no stretch. I give it a blueprint with no sketch. If you can catch it, it's a sight to see. I'm KRS and this is BDP, cause I'm getting down.
The reason why I showed you an image of this Haversham or Haversham of the Dickinson play Great Expectations is because what is said in the 20 Worst Judge about Dean T. Kusakabe, court attorney Bonnie Gershon, it's so precise. It's so precise to what you just saw. I mean, you could just be in your feelings, you know, because from just walking in there, you feel a whole different heavy entity just like weigh on you. You know, it's a spiritual place. And when I say spiritual, I'm not speaking like, you know, heavenly, you know, because that's not the only spirits. It's, you know, is the opposite of good. And good spirits probably dwell there, but it's hard to notice them because it is you constantly being attacked by these evil spirits. So you probably don't notice these things about these people, or you just have the utmost respect and giving these people the benefit of the doubts because they supposed to be in a position of high esteem, you know. So, or you could just be into yourself, whatever the case may be. But I noticed these things in Drunk Bonnie. Notice how her eyes look sunk in. I noticed how you can look at her and tell that she lacks sleep, whatever the case may be. But it could be a job. It could be her viruses, meaning her evil influences, which can be something toxic, something that, you know, she voluntarily turns to. But I don't know who made this website, and they hit it right on the head. But I'm gonna go back and continue reading. You know, it says, I'm gonna go right here to, you know, I'm gonna go back to this sentence right here, right there. Kusakabe's calendar is managed by his hapless court attorney, Bonnie Gershon, who contributes to the Dickensian atmosphere of Kusakabe courtroom. That right there says a lot too. Because if you look at what the video that I just put together of Miss Havisham, if you look at what we can, define as the atmosphere, it's very dark. You know what I mean? Even when it was sunlight or it was dark. And that goes along with what I said about the evil spirits that lurks and prey on the souls of the people that's in there. But anyway, let me go back. The Dickensian atmosphere of Kusakabe's courtroom. Clutching her coffee thermos like a baby blanket, she wanders aimlessly around the 9th floor court corridor like Miss Havisham. In court conferences, she regularly resorts to screaming or just break down in tears. Now, I can imagine, I never saw her break down in tears, but she tried to scream at me and I barked back at her, and she tucked her tail between her legs and then said she's not gonna be sitting in on this case anymore right after that. But anyway, let me go back to break down in tears. That says a lot too. If you're not built for it, why are you there? You messing with people's lives, you messing with families, you're doing all that. So why are you there if you're not built like that? What are you gaining out of this that you are enduring all this stress on you, on your mind and your body? And okay, your soul is involved too, because you are in control of where you want to be, where your soul is going to be, and who's going to control your soul. But that's on you, Bonnie. According to Gershon, she have over 1,100 pending cases on Kusakabe's docket. See, that's crazy. Anyway, how can any judge get his head around the number of custody cases? As a result of this gross irresponsibility, Kusakabe regularly gets the name of the litigants wrong. He sends orders to the wrong address or just neglects to send them out. That is so true, because peep this. Okay, let me begin with saying that the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe mailed this order to my neighbor, but on the envelope, it was addressed to me. So I have to say, who the fuck is this? Huh? The honorable one sent someone else order of protection to my neighbor, but intended for me. Now peep this. Now this just go back to Miss Havisham comparison to court attorney Bonnie Gershon, aka Drunk Bonnie. My point is, if I just prove that what they, as far as what I mean when I say they, this website just said about the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe sending orders to the wrong address, then we can believe that what they said about court attorney Bonnie Gershon, aka Drunk Bonnie comparison to Miss Havisham, is correct. And it's sad because these people with these vices like that and these mental disorders are in control or dictating many people's lives. But while we at it, let's take a look at the signature on this wrong order that the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe sent to my neighbor, but addressed to me. Now let's match it up with the final order. You understand? Everything here is that is being said is truth. All right. And I don't know if it's going to be in part 2 or 3 or 4. I'm going to break down the defenses and the just overlooking of this serious crime of this forged signature. Anyway, let me finish. Go back and read it. It says he sends orders to wrong addresses. Facts. He sends orders to wrong addresses or just neglects to send them out. The orders he sent out are often ambiguous or misspelled. He neglects to set trial dates for years, and when he does, he stretches trials out over many months in violation of court rules and judicial canon that a trial must complete within 90 days of its start. He also loses documents that have been submitted to the court under subpoena, especially when such documents do not support one of his arbitrary temporary orders of visitation. According to two sources, a retired family court judge and a family attorney close to his former partner, Kusakabe is a fanatical Christian who gives 10% of his income to the church. Let me stop right there. Because if anybody know anything about the Bible, and if you look past all the catchy scriptures that get hallelujah and amens in church, and when you read the Bible, things are revealed to you. And one of the things that was revealed to me is this last sentence. It says that he's a fanatical Christian who gives 10% of his income to the church. Fanatical. The church folks, the fanatical church folks, the ones that knew religion, the ones that knew the word of the Bible, the ones that know the scripture and can recite it to tell you that you're not living right, are the ones who set up Jesus Christ to be murdered. These are the modern day Pharisees. These same ones, like the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe, are the ones pushing people away with hate disguised as love. Anyway, let me finish reading. But his conduct more closely resembles, the sadistic 17th century persecutors of Christians in the Japan portrayed in Martin Scorsese's Silence. The New York taxpayer rewards Kusakabe with a whopping salary of $181,448, including benefits and bonuses like bribes or pay rise he is seeking for 2017. So he got a raise this year to fuck people's lives up. But watch this last sentence. Last year, 2015, I think, or 2016, one of them, I don't know. Last year, Mayor de Blasio extended his tenure without any election or public hearing until 2025. So this dude have 8 more years to ruin people's lives. Mayor de Blasio, are you showing that you are down for this bullshit? Is this why you fought so hard for pre-K for all? Is that about pimping kids and shit for government funding? I would love to be wherever he is speaking at so I can ask him, why did he extend this criminal's tenure? Is it because by the mayor's knowledge, the mayor's de Blasio's knowledge, the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe is doing great work as a judge? Or is it because the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe is a great soldier in this corrupt system? It's funny because I was on the train one day, right? Recently, thinking about, why would Mayor de Blasio extend the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe as a judge without any valid reason? As I was walking through the Barclays Center subway, I noticed this at a newsstand. Look at this shit. Look. This is October 30th, 2017 cover page. If you zoom in, you can see that it's dated October 30th, 2017. I mean, it's kind of blurry, but I brought the actual newspaper and here it is. See? It's October 30th, 2017. And I don't even buy the newspaper, but I brought this and I read the whole article, and it's crazy, but I'm not going to get all into that because I'm not knocking your hustle. But the question is, Mayor de Blasio, did you extend the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe tenure because you know he's about destroying families, or you did this because you did not know? Either way, it's horrific. If you knew, then you're admitting that you are a part of this system and not the people who you entrusted in you. Or you was just negligent and reckless in your position of power. Mayor de Blasio, can you give me one good reason why you extended the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe's tenure? Do you know that he enforces forged court documents? Numbers do lie. All of these cases that he closed isn't cases that he closed. Are you going to protect him, or are you going to protect the system? I'm just asking. Now, I understand the game. With that being said, there are big businesses in New York City, in New York State, that this system can strong arm money from. Why pick on families? Why? And a lot of these families are tight knit. You have so much money. The subway fare, the transportation fare, the public transportation fare constantly keep going up. The city could use some of this money to pay for counseling to keep families together. Or nah, I'm just asking. But this one, why do y'all pick on a little guy? Mayor de Blasio, why did the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe, who you know nothing about, make a court order for me, who he do not know anything about? He made a court order that denies me from being a father. Did you know that the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe is ranked the 4th worst judge in the state of New York from a survey made by other judges and lawyers? Answer me this, Mayor de Blasio. Why is it that I have the right to vote, but I do not have the right to be a father to my child? Shout out to LeVar Ball.
So your name?
I am an organic living being and soul.
Your name, sir?
I just told you. That's what we're getting.
May I have your name?
She's John.
Your relationship to the child?
Mother.
Thank you. Sir.
Objection. You need to recuse yourself today, and before you recuse yourself, you need to meet my demands.
I'm sorry?
You need to recuse yourself today, and before you recuse yourself, you need to meet my demands.
I need to, I'm sorry, I need to meet your demands.
Meet my demands.
application to recuse myself is denied at this time.
You can't go on with this case no longer. You denied me my rights for over a year and a half, and then for the past 6 months, you enforced a court document that where someone forged your signature. You defraud the court.
Okay, so Mr.
Objection, we can't go no further with this case.
You don't have the right to object.
Yes, I do. You've defrauded the court. No one that commits a crime is allowed to preside over a matter in the court of law.
Mr. Spain, so let me first address do you want to be called Mr. Spain, or I didn't catch how you wanted
Objection, we cannot go on with this case.
Mr. Spain, please listen. First, let me just make sure that I'm addressing you properly.
No objection. You allowed a fraudulent court document to be enforced for over 6 months.
Okay, so Mr. Spain, we'll address that in a moment.
No, objection. Someone forged your signature on the court document, which you allowed to be enforced. We cannot go no further with this case until you recuse yourself.
Okay, so Mr. Spain, so let me just address Mr. Spain. Would you like to be called Mr. Spain if you want to?
Objection. You need to recuse yourself. I have sworn statements from not 1, not 2, but 3 handwriting analysts who are court qualified, who all in sworn statements stated that the document is a forged document. We cannot go any further with this case at all until you recuse yourself and meet my demands.
So Mr. Spain, you have no authority to make demands to the court.
You have no authority. Objection. I have the right. No, listen.
Spain, I'm giving you an opportunity to address the court. We're not going to keep addressing your authority or what you perceive as your authority to make demands on this court.
We cannot go no further with this case, and I have the right to speak my right.
You have the right to speak.
Right, and yelling at me is a sign of intimidation. You cannot stop me from speaking my. That's not a problem. That's not a problem at all.
Okay, sir, please step up.
That's not a problem at all.
When a final order is made, the judge put inside the order the reason why he ruled that way, according to the law. Let's take a look at a random order. Let's use Eves M versus Mildred C. I'm gonna scroll down. Look, this paragraph is titled Procedural History and Finding of Facts. This is about the history of the case and steps taken that led up to the case and to the decision. Same as finding of facts, which is self-explanatory. Let me finish scrolling down further. Scroll down right here to where it says conclusions with an S of law. I'm not going to read anything from here. Wait, hold up. Hold up a minute. Look at this man, de Blasio. I'm going to read right here. First of all, when you see things like SBOC versus SBOC, when you see things that says C SBOC versus SBOC, this is what is called common law or case law, which are things that is said in a case that influence the decision, you know, without using statutes or the Constitution. But I'm going to read this one right here. I'm going to highlight it. It says, in determining the best interest of the child, the court must consider the totality of the circumstances presented. Alvarez versus Alvarez. Second department in this area, huh?
Look, it says second department too, huh? Second department in this area that the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe said is the highest court in this area. But he didn't even oblige to the court that he referred me to. Okay, let me get to my point though. Stroll down a little further. It's a lot of stuff in this order. Right here. I'm not going to read it, but it explains why this judge ruled and ordered the way that they did in this case. So this is my order, and as you see, the pages are numbered. This is no okie doke. This is no magic trick. This is the actual order which the Honorable Dean Kusakabe ruled on. So as you see, there is nothing in here that is stating why he made the decision. So tell me, where can I find any reason that the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe put in this order where he gave my daughter mother sole custody of my daughter? No conclusions of law, no finding of facts, nothing. Do you remember when the Honorable Dean Kusakabe said this?
This point. But if it comes to a point where the request is formally made and you choose not to comply with the request of the court to disclose that information, then the court may use that against you. Okay? At that point, then your request for custody and all these different issues becomes seen in that light, and you just have to keep that in mind. Okay? At that point, then your request for custody and all these different issues becomes seen in that light, and you just have to keep that in mind. And all these different issues becomes seen in that light, and you just have to keep that in mind. And all these different issues becomes seen in that light, and you just have to keep that in mind.
So it's fair to say that because the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe did not put in this order why, according to the law or the conclusions of law pertaining to this case, we can say that the Honorable Dean Kusakabe, according to his own words, gave my daughter mother, gave sole custody of my daughter mother because I'm disabled and refused to surrender my Fourth Amendment rights of privacy. If I said to you, I should put a fucking bullet in your head, and somewhere down the line you are found with a bullet in your head, guess who the police are coming to get? So the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe made this decision and order based off discrimination and the fact that I stand behind my rights. If this isn't so, Mayor de Blasio, then what is the basis of your boy Dean Kusakabe giving my daughter mother sole custody? This is a vicious weapon to use against this corrupt system. I am making a video of my walk in court, step by step, and what I've learned, so you can do it differently if you are caught up in this trap also. You know, I'm going to show everything from when I filed my first paperwork to the clerk putting the wrong date of birth of my daughter. You know what I mean? I'm peeping that. I'm going back to the court, and they like, no, it doesn't matter. Yes, it does matter. You know, from me filing paperwork that I could have filed, you know, and how what I know now would not have let it extend to almost 3 years, and it would have been no longer than probably 6 months to a year, and that's a fact. But an Article 78 is 3 writs. Google writ, W-R-I-T. It's powerful. But Article 78 is a writ of certiorari, which means it tells the higher court to review the case in question
from the lower court. A writ of mandamus, which is telling the higher court to force the lower court to do what they are supposed to do according to the law. And a writ of prohibition, which is telling the higher court to stop the order that the lower court has made. Of course, you will have to give them reasons according to the law. They're not just going to do it because they're like, look, they need to do this. You have to present your case. You know, you have to present your case to the higher court to prove that, you know, even a corporation, you ain't got to be the lower court. It could be a government agency, it could be another party. But you can force the opposition by a writ of mandamus with these 3 writs to, you know, do what's right, and they can stop that order completely, and they will review it. You understand? So, but the thing about it is, like Rick W. always say, you have to box them in. Once you got them boxed in and you hit them with this, there's nothing that they can really say. My Article 78 is just asking the higher court to make the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe to provide a valid court order in established jurisdiction. See, the thing about it is, this whole case is just so crazy. I'm not even asking the higher court anything about what you heard on this video. Anything. I'm going with the law. Before you can go to college, you have to go to elementary school. Then you have to go to middle school or junior high school or intermediate school. And then you go to high school. And then you go to college. Yeah, let me scroll down to just one thing that look, right here, void orders. Issuing void orders, everything. I'm going to go down to the writ of mandamus. And this is just one thing that I ask that they should easily be able to do, right? This is a writ of mandamus to compel judicial actors in lower court Dean T. Kusakabe, a judge of Kings County Family Court, Bonnie Gershon, Drunk Bonnie, court attorney for family court, to comply with substantive rights and due process rights in the U.S. Constitution Bill of Rights. Right? Remember, he said none of that is, there's no law stating that. Anyway, we're not going to get into that. We get into due process and the procedure that he took to make that final order. Right? So now we're going to go down to, I think it's number 8. Number 8. Right here. Right? Number 8. Writ of mandamus to compel is required because the respondent refused to provide proof of a valid court order between November 1st, 2016 and November 1st, 2017. So this is the part right here. This makes it very easy for the lower court. In 1 year time, even though we've been going to court since June 25th, 2015, I'm asking for one. I say if it goes right here, it says a valid court order between November 1st, 2016 and November 1st, 2017. Just one. And by doing so, they have to prove that they took the necessary channels in making the temporary court orders. So I need just one. And it's hard because, one, they can't do it because they didn't follow due process. 2, is because they are forged orders. So, like I said, stay tuned, because once I get the order from the Supreme Court, I am going to let y'all know. Mayor de Blasio, there has never been anyone on this earth that has ever loved me, that has ever showed me attention the way that my daughter does. Mayor de Blasio, the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe is your boy. You vouch for his stupid ass. So Mayor de Blasio, you have to fix this. You have to fix what you blindly, and I use the word blindly because I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. But you blindly gave this incompetent man power to destroy lives and the faith in the justice system. How can we trust you, Mayor de Blasio? Greed. Greed destroys empires. If it ain't greed, then explain the Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe actions. Explain his actions, Mayor de Blasio. The Honorable Dean T. Kusakabe is the 4th worst judge in New York State. Did you know that? What is it that you know personally, Mayor de Blasio, that made you extend this man 10 years? Without having a hearing, without evaluating or reevaluating him, even without an election. Only the Lord knows how the other judges that you extended their tenure are conducting business. I don't want to talk. Please, just fix it, or you have a lot of explaining to do. Mayor de Blasio, I don't care who you are. I don't care about your position, and I don't mean any disrespect by saying this. But your actions are standing in the way of my happiness. Fix this, please. I'm really trying to be a gentleman about this. Ladies, please, if you're not about that life, stop presenting yourself in that light. That light that I speak of is dressing and presenting yourself to be of a super sexual nature first before anything else. You know, first and foremost, dressing provocative and shit everywhere and for everything that you do, you know, like promoting sex. There are men in this world that take notice and believe that this is what you are about. Men that take pride in pleasing women sexually on the level of a porn star. Only to later find out that they were deceived because the provocative outfits are just a facade and an attention-seeking trap. When you receive the attention that you display that you are about, but actually are not, feelings evolve that you surrender to because our admiration for your deception causes you to become super toxic. My point is, if you're not a porn star or have sex on that level, and I mean mentally built for that, you know, mentally built for the morning after, stop dressing like you are about that life. Stop flirting like you are. Stop posting pictures on social media like you are. It's very misleading. Let me add, I am not saying that this have anything to do with my personal situation. I'm just saying though, men, fellas, stop trying to have sex with every damn body. It's more than sex to a lot of women. War starts when feelings are involved. Like Big Worm said to Smokey, you see, it's the principle of the whole thing. There's principalities in this. When you find out, it's too late. That sexual urge and admiration that we give females, to them, we are closing the deal. And just like that, you're in a relationship, whether you know it or not.
Thought it wasn't no better feeling than making my songs. Turns out it was the day my little baby was born. Lil Robert Payne Jr., nothing breaking our bond. Hit that like button if you can relate to my songs. Now let me tell you about him. I love my little boy to death, I raised hell about him. My little boy deserved the best, I never yell around him. My little boy don't need the stress, baby mother get on my nerves. Other brothers, they would've left, but I'm still here. I might act like I don't, but I still care. Having babies without a wife, that's my real fear. But you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. I fell in fake love and cried real tears. Never figured in my wildest thoughts she would go behind my back to get that child support. Damn, guess I was wrong. It's evident as hell. Got my heart broken when I got that letter in the mail. Court date getting closer, 3 days left. Caseworker said I get that free DNA test. I say fuck it, do it just for the fun. And I found out shorty wasn't my son. This can't be life. Pain.
selfish. That's what they say, they're all selfish. They do whatever to get what they want, makes them happy. They don't think about others' happiness. And everything that they do, they feel they're justified. They don't ever accept fault. That's what my dad said. He said in his letter, he goes home and sleeps at night knowing that he did his best.
Moving right along to today, right? I'm sitting up there and I'm scrolling down my line on Facebook. And what do I see? I see a female talking about, because she's pissed off, you're not going to see my son no more. Not only you're not going to see my son, but I'm going to find him a new daddy that's going to love me and you. I mean, me and him, and you're dead to your son. What part of the game is that? Mind you, this female cheated on her boyfriend the whole relationship. But the minute that he decided that game over and he's moving on, he's opting out of the game. Now he can't be a father and you're going to replace him. Some serious shit. And females like you are the reason why our community is so fucked up. Why our young boys, our young males is growing up with so much fucking anger. I had a stepfather growing up. I don't give a fuck how many Nintendos he bought, how many great adventures he took me to. He was not my father. And all I wanted was my fucking father. Like every other little boy. So many little boys that I know cry because they don't have their dad. And sometimes when I see these little boys, I go in the background and it makes me cry to see a female. How you tell your son, and this is not my son, this is my nephew's son, how you tell your son that you're going to replace his father and he got a good dad. I wish the hell my pops would have been in my life that way. I wish. Y'all bitches is bugged out. How do you tell a little boy that you're gonna replace his father? I still know what it feels like to be that little boy sitting in the closet wondering where the fuck my father was. Meanwhile, your son got a father. And because you can't get over the pussy and dick games that you playing, you gonna turn around and tell that little boy that he can't have a father in his life? And then she had the audacity to sit up there and say that you're gonna make a video, or you made a video with your son in the video saying he don't want to be a part of his father no more neither. Mind you, if you see this little boy and his father together, it looks like something special. But it takes a sick, twisted, evil bitch to sit up there and divide a father and a son just because you can't take the fact that life goes on. You the reason why our community and bitches like you and your mother and those bitches on your post that egged you on is the reason why our community is so fucked up. Fathers don't come a dime a dozen. Fathers are hard to find. And that little boy had a hell of a father to him. And because you pissed off, you gonna mentally fuck him up. He's already an angry little boy because you so angry. And his father's so angry because he keeps fighting with you. So what's the best thing to do? To separate. But instead of letting that man go about his business, you got to deal with domestic violence. You got to deal with courts. And now you're not going to be a father. So when men walk away and they step away from the children because they can't deal with this no more, they're a piece of shit. But the flip side to it is you turn the kid into an enemy or you put the father in jail. Some of y'all females need a reality check. I know what it's like to look for my son in the same city and not see him for a whole year straight. So now they becoming a casualty of your war, your personal agenda, because you can't get over the fact that life goes on without that dick. Some of y'all females don't give a fuck, but for the ones that is listening, that is gonna watch this video, I want you to understand something. The damage that you do when y'all play these games with these children, you can't turn back time. I am a product of that. My father was not around. Ben peeked out that weakness and he had a Fields day. Y'all need to stop playing games, man.
Think about an artist painting a picture. Now you know that once you imagine an artist painting a picture, you know that he has to see that image inside of his head. He has to feel it inside of his heart. Now let me show you the correlation between painting and parenting. Now if you think about it, every single day you show your child an image. Whether it's happiness, sadness, anger, or frustration, you're showing your child that. So when you look at me and you see confidence, you see motivation, you see empowerment, that's my father. He put since I'm 12 years old, he put 12 years of confidence, amazing energy and motivation inside of me. So now I'm confident, I'm strong. So when you see your child and your child walks around angry or frustrated, that's because you're showing your child those images. So let me ask you this. What image are you painting for your child? And yes, you could show your child happiness, encouragement, and they could change from outside influences, but you're supposed to have the biggest impact.
The chain is as strong as the weakest link. It's time for us to start, for one, stop being cowards. Stop picking and choosing what battles you want to fight. Because that's another thing too. You're picking and choosing what battles you want to fight. I'm sitting back watching these dudes argue over the stupidest shit. You ready to fight and insult each other over the stupidest shit, but nobody wants to go out and face our youth.
Hey, when you get to court, keep that same energy. If you crazy, when you get to court, better stay crazy. You got what I'm saying? Like, if you a street dude and you know what I'm saying, you be like, yo, I knock niggas out, etc., etc. You get to court, niggas is fainting, falling out. You know, niggas be big mouths in the street. Get to court, lost for words. You know, because when you're doing it to each other, you got it down pat, but you get to that foreign bank sitting in that court, you got to keep that same energy. You got to keep that same energy. So you a shit talker or whatever the case is, when you get to that court, keep that same energy.
Just talk about doing the shit. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, it's more important to start than to just overly plan. Because there's no way you could plan all the way through.
Right. Well, you can get stuck at different levels.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
And
you get stuck, like I said, this world is manifest from your thoughts, but you could get stuck at that knowledge degree to where all you're doing is thinking. Now you got to take it to the next degree, which is wisdom, meaning the act of manifesting your knowledge, the act of doing. You know what I mean? And so now you get to 3, which is the understanding, which is the materialization of your knowledge and your actions. You see, it's the result, the sum of knowledge and action. You know, that's what understanding is.
Straight like that. Niggas drawing. Got time for that.
I'm fucking bad.
Pull up on the ball. One time. Philly jump.
goddamn minute. GBC start-ish, GBC gon' finish. Diamonds on my wrist glisten. GBC feel tremendous. You already know, man. I'm shopping GBC. They keep me fly. Pull up, don't play no game.